Alright guys, this one is going to be one of the meatier videos that I make this year. And this is just a theory that I've had for quite a while. It kind of coattails into my previous video. If you guys haven't watched it, I'll leave a link in the video for you guys to watch. Is the NFL rigged? So this goes along with that. My argument at this point is that it is 100%. And over the course of basically my YouTube video making, I'm going to continually try to prove that case to you guys and kind of show you just more from like a political, religious, like just market perspective, right? Like a world perspective of like why these things would be that way. Like why would the NFL be rigged, right? Like these are the kind of questions I would ask. Like who buys the teams, who owns the teams, what exactly even is the NFL, right? Like things like this is what I'm going to start going more into. And so if you guys are up for that, then I appreciate it. But yeah, the goal of my channel is going to shift quite drastically from, as I've mentioned in the rigged video, from just covering the mundane, which I'll still do occasionally, but like just covering the mundane sports stuff. There's already great people that do that, so I just personally don't want to do that anymore. I want to focus on less of the day-to-day, like keeping up with the latest stuff, and more on like deeper analysis of things. And so this is a video that I'm making it's probably going to be titled They're Always Going to Be the Redskins, or something like that is the way that I'm gonna, because that's the gist of the video that I'm trying to make here. I'm not a Redskins fan, obviously, but to me, they're never going to be called the Washington Commanders, because I know why they're called the Washington Commanders, right? It's a completely political reason. It's really stupid. And I'm looking into I have been looking in, but the guy that owns the team now, his name is Josh Harris. And if you look into this guy now, this guy is just one of those Larry Fink BlackRock types, right? Like he's into social engineering. He's one of those investor types. He's met with Jared Kushner, so he's like big into like Israel, and of course he's one of the tribe. I can't really say what that is on YouTube, but I think you guys might know what I'm talking about. He's just one of those guys, and so he's big into this social engineering, this pro woke agenda type stuff. And similar to what happened to the Cleveland Indians with baseball, I think that this name change for the Redskins is completely political and completely astroturfed. And I have several articles here. I'll probably leave them in the links if you guys, or I'll leave links in the description if you guys want to read them. But there was a lot of pushback. There's a Washington Post article here back from or sorry, not Washington Post, my bad, New York Post, back from August 14th, 2023, talking about how Native American groups actually want the Redskins name back. And I remember I did a debate on this team in college, and it was something stupid like, is the term racist, right? Is the Redskins name racist? Which I never thought it was, but this was just the beginnings. This was like back in 2012. I'm kind of aging myself a little bit here, but way back when I was in college, right? Back in those days, this was a topic, right? This was back when Dan Snyder owned the team. Dan Snyder was a really awful owner, but he was very adamant that he would never change the team name, because he didn't look at it that way. And I've got these articles up, and I was thinking about quoting it, giving you some quotes here, but I'm not going to read too much into these articles, because I'll just leave them here for you to read. But essentially, just a lot of Native Americans really liked the Redskins team. They looked at it as like a way to honor them. In fact, this article right here, it's from News Nation. It says, "Family of Blackfeet chief who inspired Redskins logo wants it back." So the logo actually has significant meaning other than just being like, oh, it's just Indians, right? Like there's symbolic reasons why why. Sorry, I'm pulling up another tab here. There's significant reasons why they even are called the Redskins. They're actually one of the oldest teams too. A lot of people already know that, but they were founded in 1932, so they're even older than the Eagles, right? They're one of the oldest teams. And this kind of gets into my theory of what's going on here and what could happen, right? I could look like a complete idiot making this video, especially if they lose next week, but I've had this theory in my head that just as the season's gone on, the way that they've hyped up the Commanders, right, or the Redskins, they've really been making a big stink about Jaden Daniels this year, and I think he's pretty good, but he kind of just reminds me of an RG3 type quarterback. Obviously, when the Redskins played the Eagles this year, that was the second time when we lost. That was a very questionable game, we could just say. I think it was rigged in the Redskins' favor, obviously. And so what I think is going to happen, and this kind of goes against my previous predictions, just because I thought the Bucs were going to win, but this is more of a theory I've had for a while about just what the Commanders is. And so what I think could possibly happen is that the Commanders could beat the Lions, and the Eagles could end up playing them in the championship game. And then the Commanders win the Redskins. So I'm going to call them the Commanders just for this because I'm trying to explain what they're trying to do with the name. Otherwise, I'm always going to call them the Redskins. That's another thing I wanted to say in this video, is that they will always be the Redskins to me. Whenever I talk about them candidly or in videos, I'm going to call them the Redskins. I don't think many Redskins fans or Commanders fans would mind that, because a lot of the Redskins fans are Redskins fans, not Commanders fans. So that I wanted to get out there as well. That I'm just going to call them. And they're saying, yeah, they have a song now called "Hail to the Commanders." Like the whole thing is silly to me. Like how they just expect people to switch over to this team. Anyway, back to my theory is that I think what is going to happen, I'm not saying that it can happen, because I think the NFL is rigged, but I don't think it's like 100% rigged. It's more like if things are going the way they want, the refs can decide how the game goes. So like a good example is, like, say the Eagles do play the Redskins in the championship game. Something the refs can do if the game is close, right? Like kind of like what they did in the Bucs game. If the game is close, the refs can do just enough to get you to win. Because the refs literally decide who wins and loses. I'll die on that hill. The only way that you can avoid that is if a team just completely blows out another team, but even that's becoming questionable now, because you can be blowing a team out and then just all of a sudden just flags and things like that can get you. So all sorts of things can happen in the league now with these stupid refs. I mean, it feels like they can just flag anything. I don't even know what the rules are anymore. I mean, what were they talking about the other day? They were talking about something stupid where they're going to like get rid of the onside kick completely. And then instead of the onside kick, they're going to have it so that the team gets one chance. It's like a 1st and 40, something crazy. But basically the team gets one chance to convert a 1st and 40, and if they can convert that, then they get the ball as if they recovered an onside kick. And you can obviously see, if you understand football, why that's stupid, because the likelihood of converting a 1st and 40 is way more likely than converting a onside kick. So that's just going to make it harder to win, right? Everything in this league literally is becoming communist in a way, because they're giving, if you're losing, they give you all these chances to come back, right? This is why the Chiefs always win, because they just barely win, right? So it's definitely an entertainment product as I see it now, because it doesn't feel authentic. I guess that's the way to put it. I mean, even in the Eagles game, just barely, that was a Packers recovery in the beginning. That fumble was a Packers recovery. The Eagles did not recover that. So, I'm not being biased. Like, it happens to every team. So, anyway. But yeah, what I think is possibly going to happen is the Eagles will play them, and then if it's close enough, they're going to let the Redskins win. In fact, I could predict that's probably what's going to happen. It's going to be like a really tight game, and the Redskins will win. And it'll probably be something like the Redskins and the Chiefs, or the Redskins and the Bills. I think it'll be Redskins Chiefs. So Commanders Chiefs will be the Super Bowl, right? And what I think will end up happening is the Commanders will win the Super Bowl. Now, if that happens, that's going to legitimize the Commanders, right? Which is part of the greater agenda here. I should really just like read some things about, and this is just on the Wikipedia page of the owner of this Josh Harris guy, who I've just recently been looking into. Because this guy is just all over the place. I mean, he's given money to the Trump administration, specifically Jared Kushner. I don't know how much geopolitics you guys study, but Jared Kushner is a big Israel guy, so he gives money to that. In sports management, he's just like an investor guy. So I don't even think he's the sole owner of the Commanders. I think it's like a whole bunch of people. Yeah, right here it says, in 2023, Harris headed a group that purchased the NFL's Washington Commanders from Daniel Snyder for $6.5 billion, the highest price ever paid for a sports team. The group has 20 limited partners, including Dinar and Glenstone founder Mitchell Rowles, Hall of Fame player Magic Johnson, and DC venture capitalist Mark Ein. So, yeah, just a whole bunch of people are in this team now. Then if you go to his personal life, this is where it's funny. So Harris is Jewish, and he follows the Reform Judaism denomination. So there you go. He's one of them. And he actually grew up attending. See, this is what's weird is he grew up as a fan of the Redskins, apparently. But then he wants to change the name. It'd be like me, like I love the Eagles, and then one day I get to buy the Eagles, and I change the name to, like, I don't know, the Philadelphia Commanders, right? It's kind of stupid. And so that all just seems sus to me, like that part. And then, yeah, so that's the personal life. But then the philanthropy part was also interesting, because he gives money to the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. So he's kind of like, he's one of those guys where he just like puts money where he needs it. And then this is the part that I really wanted to read. And, you know, like I said, this is not really football completely related anymore. So if you guys aren't into this, you know, that's fine. But this is going to be the channel going forward. I'm going to be talking more about geopolitical things like that, because the world is heading in a direction now, especially with X and Elon and all that, where, you know, I feel like I can talk about this stuff, and I'm not going to get like shadow banned off the internet or whatever. And so here's what it says: Harris has contributed to socio-economic programs in Israel through sports, including founding a youth basketball league known as the 48ers and funding a project integration Ethiopian Jews to the country. During the COVID-19 pandemic, he donated over $7 million worth of food and medical supplies to Philadelphia-based groups and organizations. Harris, through HBSE, committed $20 million to fight racial injustice in the wake of 2020 George Floyd. So that part was very interesting to me. I won't get into the whole Floyd thing. Maybe if you guys want, let me know down in the comments. If you guys want to hear more videos about this political stuff that has nothing to do with football, let me know and I'll make them. I might make some anyway, but just specifically things like that if you want to hear about it. And the whole George Floyd thing ties that whole incident, right? The whole thing that caused, the BLM and all that. This ties in to the Washington Commanders, because when did they become the Commanders? Yeah, they were the football team in 2020 and 2021, and then they became the Commanders in 2022. And a lot of that was propelled by this whole George Floyd thing. This was also when the NFL started with the stupid like names on the helmet, like embrace love, fight injustice. And the Eagles are notorious for this. End racism in the back of the end zone, right? Like all of this stupid political crap put into the sport. which is one of the reasons why I boycotted the NFL in 2020, by the way. I didn't even watch that season. I have a video about that, actually. It's one of my better viewed videos of late. But yeah, I just couldn't stand it during that year because like all this stuff was happening. It became so political, and yeah, and so this team, I've been long keeping my eye on it, and I just hate that it's a thing. I never thought I'd say it, but I miss the Redskins. You know, they're a rival, but I just hate the Commanders. This is just silly to me. It's just so stupid. But yeah, that was kind of the point of this video, is that I think the goal here is that they do want the Commanders to win a Super Bowl at some point. And this kind of feels like the year, really. This feels like the narrative is it's this Jaden Daniels, you know, rookie is kind of blowing through teams, right? Like if he wins against the Lions, that's a huge deal. So this video might age like milk or it might age like wine, but the overall theory still stands, is that I think eventually they want, sooner rather than later, they want the Redskins to win a Super Bowl. Or sorry, they want the Commanders, because keep in mind the Redskins have 3 Super Bowls. That's another thing that makes it hard for them to just throw the Redskins out the window like they want. Because the Redskins do have 3 Super Bowls. And Redskins fans remember those Super Bowls, obviously. So, sorry, I'm trying to find their championships. Yeah, they won in 82, 87, and 91. So, and they have like Doug Williams, great story, right? They have a lot of history. And I think that these people want that to go away, especially for the younger generations that don't. They just became fans now, right? Like the only Commanders fans that I've actually run into in my real life are people that have become fans like within the last 5 years. They don't have this. They don't have this crazy like history. There's some Redskins fans on YouTube that I talk to that are, you know, they're actually Redskins fans because they know the history. And so I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about going forward for the future. They want to, and they might do this with other teams. Like the Chiefs are, oddly enough, could be the next one that they try to pull this crap on, because anything that's racist or sexist or, you know, anti-Semitic or whatever the hell, right? They want to grind it all to dust and make it this generic thing. If you want like a really good example of this, go look at what they're doing to flags. Go look at like the Utah flag, the Minnesota flag. They're changing flags, like state flags, to look like corporate logos. They're like trying to just get rid of all history, all references to the past, because these people think that it's problematic, right? They think that it's racist and sexist and not modern or whatever the excuse. This is their goal. So anyway, that's kind of my theory. I'm kind of like rambling at this point, but that's my theory. This year feels like the Redskins are primed, right? Like if it's Eagles-Redskins championship game, I'm going to be more nervous than if it's the Lions, because I just think that this team is it's the narrative this year. I mean, what can I say? Even when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, right, in 2017, that felt like a narrative to me now, because we were the underdogs all year. That was what they kept calling us. And so there's definitely an agenda here. There's definitely something going on with this team. Also, this team is in Washington, D.C., so it's in like it's like right in Babylon, right? It's right in the heart of darkness. And so I don't know. It's a fascinating team. I'm never going to call them the Commanders. I'm always going to call them the Redskins. So if anyone gets annoyed by that, you know, sorry. I'm sorry that you have succumbed to the propaganda, right? You've fallen into this just changing of the team, right? Like the current thing. And people have short memories nowadays, so like I'd fully expect. I mean, 2022, as far as most people are concerned, when this team was changed, that was like 10 years ago, because that's how people think, you know. Like, just memory, everything gets memory hold like as fast as possible. And so anyway, that is kind of that's kind of the video, guys. So let me know what you guys think down below. Like I said, please comment and let me know if you guys like this kind of content. Obviously, I'm going to keep making things like this as I feel fit, but if you want anything else, if you like the political side, that's kind of what I'd like, some feedback, I guess, of ways I could improve, maybe things that you find interesting that maybe I could talk about, and just opinions on the channel going forward. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the Redskins and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl this year, and the Redskins win. And if they win, that legitimizes the name. Just to kind of like wrap all this up, that legitimizes their name, and now the Redskins have 3 Super Bowls, but the Commanders have 1 modern Super Bowl, and that's what the younger generations are going to remember. And so it's also a perfect narrative for Jaden Daniels as well, because the narrative's already there. This young quarterback shows up and can win a Super Bowl in his first year, right? So we'll just have to see what happens, guys. But that is the video. Again, thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't liked the video, please do. It helps the algorithm, helps me regrow my channel. I haven't made videos regularly in a while, so I'm trying to get back into it. New returning viewers, thank you guys for watching. And if you're new, consider subscribing. Yeah, appreciate it. And thanks so much. Talk to you guys later.